I was wrong about Chinese EVs. You're leaving money on the table. You're probably still thinking, Chinese cars? No way I'm trusting my money with that. That mindset is quietly costing you thousands of dollars on your next car. Today, I'm going to show you why I was wrong about Chinese EVs, and why ignoring them now means you're literally leaving money on the table. Who this is for. If you're planning to buy a car in the next 1 to 3 years, whether it's your first vehicle, a family car, or a workhorse for Uber, Bolt, or deliveries, this video is for you. My job is simple. Help everyday drivers avoid bad decisions, stop wasting money on cars, and understand what's really going on under the hood before it becomes an expensive problem. And when I first saw Chinese EVs, I had the same reaction as most people. They're cheap for a reason. I'll stick to Japanese or German. After digging into the numbers, real-world usage, and how these cars are being built and sold, I had to admit, I was wrong. In this video, I'll break down 7 brutal truths about Chinese EVs that car manufacturers, dealers, and even a lot of mechanics don't want you to understand. By the end, you'll know exactly when a Chinese EV makes sense, when it doesn't, and how to avoid getting burned. A friend of mine was about to finance a used petrol SUV from a trusted brand with over 120,000 miles on it. The monthly payment looked okay, until we added fuel, routine services, unexpected repairs, and the interest on the loan. Then we compared that total cost to a new or nearly new Chinese EV with warranty, lower running costs, and government incentives in his country. Over 5 years, the cheap used SUV was going to cost him thousands more than the EV. Same monthly payment range, completely different total cost. That's when I realized, most people are judging Chinese EVs with emotions and old stereotypes, not with a calculator. So let's fix that. Truth 1. Price versus what you actually get. Most people still look at car prices the old way. Badge first, monthly payment second, nothing else. Chinese EVs flip this. You're getting more car for the same or less money. Bigger screens, more safety tech, longer equipment lists, and in many markets, better warranty coverage. Here's what usually happens. You walk into a dealership, see a familiar brand logo, and assume this is safer. You end up paying for the badge, not the value. The money problem. When you compare total cost of ownership, purchase price, fuel/electricity, maintenance, repairs, and resale, a lot of Chinese EVs aren't just a bit cheaper, they completely embarrass some traditional brands, especially on running costs. The fix. Before you sign anything, you must compare purchase price or monthly payment, estimated fuel versus electricity cost per month, service intervals and typical maintenance items, warranty length on the battery and motor. Do this side by side, not by brand name. If the Chinese EV is giving you more range, more features, and lower running costs for the same money, that's not a risky choice. That's a smart one. Truth 2. Your fuel habits are paying for someone else's profit form. Most survivors cherish you driving daily in the city, doing ride-hailing, deliveries, or long commutes. Fuel is often your biggest hidden cost after the loan. With an efficient EV, especially one that's cheaper to buy up front, your fuel bill can drop dramatically. That difference each month is literally money that could stay in your pocket, go back into your business, or pay off your car faster. What I used to think. I'll keep my petrol or diesel because charging networks aren't everywhere, and fuel is easier. That's true in some regions. But in many cities now, if you have home or workplace charging, or reliable public chargers on your usual routes, then your fuel cost becomes one of the biggest advantages of a Chinese EV. The fix. Before rejecting an EV, do this. Calculate your current monthly fuel spend. Estimate electricity cost for the same distance. Many EV calculators are free online. Multiply the difference over 3 to 5 years. If that number shocks you, you just found out how much money your current fuel habits are handing to oil companies and not your bank account. Truth 3. Maintenance. Fewer moving parts, fewer surprises. Traditional engines are complex. Oil changes, filters, belts, spark plugs, coolant hoses. Thousands of moving parts that can wear and fail. EVs, including Chinese EVs, remove a lot of that. No engine oil changes, no timing belts or chains, far fewer moving parts overall. That doesn't mean no maintenance. You still have tires, brakes, though they often last longer because of regenerative braking, suspension components, cabin filters, and basic checks. But here's the key. Less complexity equals fewer chances for surprise, expensive repairs. For an everyday car owner who hates surprise breakdowns and random warning lights, this is a big deal. The fix? If you choose a Chinese EV, treat it like any other car. Follow the maintenance schedule, rotate tires, check brakes, and don't abuse it. But understand that, compared to an old high-mileage petrol or diesel, your risk of catastrophic mechanical failure is usually lower. Over 5 to 8 years, that lower risk is real money saved. Truth 4. Battery fear versus battery reality. The biggest emotional objection to any EV is the battery. What happens when the battery dies? Isn't that insanely expensive? It can be, which is why you don't guess. You read the warranty. Many Chinese EVs now offer long battery warranties, for example, 7 to 8 years or a high mileage cap on the high voltage pack. Clear guarantees on how much capacity the battery will retain. If you're planning to keep the car inside that warranty period, your risk is a lot lower than most people think. Where people go wrong. They compare a brand new EV with warranty to a 15-year-old combustion car with no protection, and somehow think the EV is riskier. They've seen horror stories online, but never look at the actual coverage in their market. The fix. When you look at a Chinese EV, ask, what is the battery warranty in years and kilometers/miles? Ask, what percentage of capacity is guaranteed? Check if there are known support centers or partners in your region. If the warranty period matches or exceeds how long you plan to own the car, most of that battery fear disappears and the financial upside becomes obvious. Truth 5. Brand ego is expensive. Let's be honest. A lot of resistance to Chinese EVs comes from ego and habit, not logic. I only drive German. I only trust Japanese. I've never even heard of that Chinese brand. It must be bad. Meanwhile, Chinese manufacturers are supplying parts to those same trusted brands, building entire cars in joint ventures, pouring money into design, tech, and battery innovation, while others are still selling you 10-year-old platforms with a facelift. Here's the harsh truth. Your badge loyalty doesn't impress the mechanic or the bank. They get paid whether your car is reliable or not. You're the one covering the repair bills, the fuel, and the depreciation. The fix. Detach your identity from the brand. Attach it to the numbers. Total cost of ownership, warranty, real-world reliability in your region. How well the car fits your actual use. If a Chinese EV checks more of those boxes than the famous logo, then refusing it is a luxury choice, and a potentially expensive one. Truth 6. Not all Chinese EVs are good, and how to filter the bad ones. Now let's be very clear. Chinese EV is not one single thing. Some brands are excellent, some are average, some are trash. Treat it like any other market. There are serious manufacturers with big R&D budgets, proper crash testing, and global partners. And there are cheap copycats cutting corners to win on price only. The mistake people make. They see one poorly built model and write off the entire category. The fix. Use a simple filter before you consider a Chinese EV brand. Is the brand already selling in multiple countries with official dealer or service networks? Are there independent crash test results from recognized organizations? Are real owners posting long-term reviews, not just unboxing content? Does the company offer clear warranty terms and spare parts support? If the answer is yes to those, you're not buying a random experiment, you're buying into a serious manufacturer that happens to be based in China. If the answer is no, walk away. Don't gamble just because it's cheap. Truth 7. The game is shifting whether you like it or not. Globally, regulations, fuel prices, and technology are all moving in one direction. More electrification, stricter emissions, incentives for EVs, penalties for high-emission vehicles. Chinese manufacturers are not trying to catch up anymore. In some parts of the EV market, they are leading. They're building affordable compact EVs for city driving, long-range family cars with big interiors and big screens, work-focused vehicles designed to do high mileage with low running costs. Whether you love it or hate it, your next car purchase decision is happening inside that new reality. So you have two choices. Ignore this shift, keep buying the same way, and hope the old rules still work. Use this shift to your advantage and pick a car, including potentially a Chinese EV, that protects your wallet over the next 5 to 10 years. One of those choices leaves money on the table, the other doesn't. Closing lesson: how to decide if a Chinese EV is right for you. Let's bring this down to something practical you can do this week. If you're even thinking about buying a car soon, do this. Shortlist at least one serious Chinese EV in your budget range. Compare it directly against your default choice using total cost of ownership over 5 years, warranty, especially on the battery, real-world charging options where you live and drive, how it fits what you actually do daily, family, work, city versus highway. If after that, the Chinese EV still loses for you, no problem. But if it wins on cost, features, and protection, and you walk away because of a logo, you're not being cautious. You're being emotional. My goal isn't to convince you that every Chinese EV is perfect. My goal is to make sure you stop leaving money on the table just because your information is outdated. If this opened your eyes or challenged what you believed about Chinese EVs, hit that like button so more people don't get trapped in expensive car decisions. Tell me in the comments, would you ever buy a Chinese EV? Why or why not?